coming up on the old high school football field. So this is actually the high school. This is where we played our football games. All the footballs would get hit. Art class right up there. I'd look out in the middle of class, look down on the field, just wondering, you'd be like, man, one day, if I ever got a chance to play on that field. It's amazing how time just kind of goes, and all of a sudden, now the field looks small. It was big at one point.
You gonna be a football player when you grow up?
Today is the best day of your life. Believe
Give
it.
me 18 years of daylight. That's all right.
Greatest leader I've ever known.
What a ride it's been!
Let's go right now.
I always felt like I never could throw the ball as well as I wanted to, comparative to other people. I wanted to be a natural thrower who could do it from different angles, who could do it, you know, off your back foot, sliding right, shoulders facing this way, without moving your feet, still throw back to a crossing route and hit him on 3rd and 4. I couldn't sleep. There was this insatiable desire to figure this out. I call it like a joyful obsession.
Oh, what a pretty pass. Easy touchdown.
Something that you really love, you know, but it's like you're obsessed with figuring it out. And so when I say that, I would throw football every day of the year, 365 days a year, probably 2 times in that day, 2 different sessions, probably 100 of those days.
Woo!
And then at night into the couch just to feel it come off your fingertips over and over. And when I found it, the game got easier. Forget about the winning and losing. That was what brought me joy, was feeling the improvement.
Beautiful Wisconsin, nature's wonderland. In all my dreams I see.
Before becoming the Cowboys' all-time leading passer, Tony Romo's obsession took root in small-town America, in a place called Burlington, Wisconsin.
Oh, Tony? Yeah. Tony's everything here in Burlington.
And the pine scented air.
Well, I grew up here, and you know, Burlington's a small town. It's, you know, there's probably 10,000 total people.
It's a tighter-knit community because it is smaller. The work ethic that he developed, I think, was a large part of it was because of the community that he grew up in.
Antonio Ramiro Romo grew up in the heart of Packer country with his 2 older sisters. It is the type of town where generations can pass through the same household. For Tony, visits to see his sister Jocelyn mean a trip down memory lane.
What's up?
What's up? Oh.
What's happening?
Welcome home.
Hey, Lexi. Hey, Mom. Sports was really my whole life growing up. I would play sports 24/7. You want to see Dad's room? Yeah. It was so big when I was little. This is, yeah, my bed was right over here, same way.
I remember when he was younger, in the morning I'd find tablets next to his bed, and there were plays on them, no matter what sport he was playing.
We had posters. We had Michael Jordan, Brett Favre. We had a bunch of, you know, other legends of the game.
He basically lived in the gym.
Yeah.
We used to call him a gym rat.
Yeah.
I mean, we were buying him tennis shoes, remember,
Sure.
every month.
This is really where the first time I had an obsession of like something I loved every single day, and it was basketball when I was a kid. We hung a basket right up on the garage one year. But the driveway was actually gravel, so then my parents were nice enough to make it cement one time.
It would be midnight, and I think we could hear the basketball bouncing, and we'd have to, like, you know, the neighbors are trying to sleep.
And boy, was he special, because he just makes everybody better. He had that knack of knowing where to pass, when to pass, who to pass to. It was just so innate that you didn't have to teach it.
I loved it. It was all the time. I'd come out here, stay out till 2 in the morning if Mom let me.
Football was more of a pastime for teenage Tony. Not until some tough love from Father Ramiro did the multi-sport star take the game seriously.
You know, it's going to be very, very hard for you to play at the Division I level in basketball. As good as you are, you're just maybe 2 steps too slow, you know, and a few inches too short.
My dad's always been very honest with me. He's someone I look to for advice and everything just because he's, you know, he's smart and he's wise. When he tells you something, you know it's coming from the right place. And, you know, when he told me about the possibility of making that choice, you know, I didn't really want to or even think about doing that at the time, but I think he might have been right when I look back. I don't know.
Romo attended Eastern Illinois on a partial football scholarship, but he did not play a snap freshman year, and coaches suggested a position change to tight end.
And I told him, I said, no, I understand where you're coming from, Coach, but give me one more year, and if you don't see improvement or if you don't think I'm better, then we can talk about it again, but give me one more chance. And that really was the day that I switched in my brain, really for the rest of my life. From that day on, I would argue for the next 10 years, maybe 12, I threw a football every single day of my life. And so when I came back in the spring game, probably 4 months later, I went like 19 for 21 with like 2 touchdowns. And I went over to Coach afterward and I was like, do you mind if I stay at quarterback? He's like, I think you could stay at quarterback, so.
Romo went on to win the Walter Payton Award, the equivalent of the Heisman Trophy for Division I AA. Excitement was high for the 2003 NFL Draft.
So draft day was interesting because we have a big party. It's out back right here. So we probably have, I don't know, 100 family and friends that come over.
Welcome to the 68th annual NFL selection meeting, commonly known as the draft.
All of a sudden, bam, 3rd round ends, we don't get drafted, which is okay. Now we're into the 6th round, we're in the middle. Dallas is calling, people are calling. All of a sudden the cheese dip is cold, no one's eating or talking anymore.
And just to throw one other name into the mix, Division III, Mount Union, Rob Adamson, all he did was win back-to-back national titles.
Tony Romo, Eastern Illinois, too.
Finally, the 6th round ends, and we're going to the 7th round, and I just, all right, Dad, I'm out of here. I'm walking down the street.
On the 262nd pick and the last pick in this draft, the Oakland Raiders pick Ryan Hogue.
And then you don't get drafted. I felt like I let everybody down. You feel like you're just not very good. And then you feel humiliated because it's in front of everyone that's coming here to support you. Then in the next hour, it's like, where are you going?
Many teams called, but Romo's final decision was between the Broncos and the Cowboys, with Denver offering $10,000 more to sign.
Behind the scenes, Sean Payton's like, we don't need to go any higher. I mean, Jerry's like, we'll give him 20, what's the big deal? And Sean's like, no, I got him. We'll keep him at 10. I already can tell. I still tell him to this day he owes me $10,000.
He took the least amount of money for the best reason, because he had a great chance of making that team.
I looked at the roster. I thought Dallas gave me the best chance to make it. They had a coach I wanted to learn from. It was Bill Parcells who was there.
Now, come on, kid. You got the ability to do it. Take it with you.
I think he was smart enough to see the opportunity, and I always tease him, ask him how it worked out, that decision. So I think it worked out pretty good for him.
You know, I like to think I'm a, small-town guy who grew up, went to a small school, came here, and now he's lucky enough to play a game that he loves.
As an undrafted 3rd stringer, Tony Romo was a long shot to become the star quarterback Dallas had been searching for since Troy Aikman suddenly retired.
Tony, where is that Romo? That first year, if we just put him in there, it would have been worse than bad. He was athletic. He did have a quick delivery. We just tried to help him with his throwing, his accuracy, his decisions.
Okay, sit, throw it. Tony, set your feet, and throw it. I don't like this. What's this? Come on. Let's go.
The good Lord just blessed me with the ability to process, spatial awareness, things of that nature quickly. So when I got to the NFL, that wasn't that fast. It was almost, I was like, feels the same speed to my brain. Now the difference is, I'd see the guy and throw it before he was open because I could see it, but I'd throw it in the dirt. The problem was I was so bad at throwing a football and just the mechanics and the knowledge of the game at that point.
Huh? You're gonna get killed. Huh? They'd be licking their chops. You'd be like liverwurst on rye. Huh? Little pepperoni. They say, ooh, we got a little pepperoni back here we can have for lunch. Oh, I'm not gonna tell you again. I'm not gonna tell you again.
For over 3 seasons, Romo sat. He didn't throw a single pass in a game.
Those 3.5 years felt like 20.
Get it out of there. That's a sack.
I never even got like a rep. And so, I mean, it just felt like you were destined to never get an opportunity.
Come on, Romo. You should have known pre-snap what to do there.
David Lee worked with me every day in throwing the football, day and night.
Okay.
You know, I'd be like, can I get 20 footballs just so I can throw into my couch at home? I just started to get immersed in it at that time. And then when they all started to come together, I improved quickly.
By 2006, Romo turned the corner.
2nd and 8. Come on, kid. Tony, will you run your team? God darn it. Come on, kid. Come on, Tony. Throw it, throw it, throw it. That a boy, you got it? That a boy. Tony, that's a good throw, Tony.
And I think Bill must have seen something that he liked, because it was a unique decision that he made, that he's going to start Tony in that first preseason game and just allow him to have that opportunity to play with the starters.
I'm going to play him a lot Saturday night. I might start him and let him go.
I mean, he's studying his brains off.
No, I know, that's good. He better study his brains off. This is it. 3 years? Come on.
No, he's not.
Tony Romo's going to start at quarterback. Bledsoe's going to get the night off so that Tony Romo can play a lot.
The Seattle game in '06 in the preseason was probably, still to this day, I would argue might have been the most important game I've ever played in, just individually. You know right then that this is basically an evaluation to see whether or not you can be the starter and be the guy. If you're the first-round pick or you're a guy in the first few rounds, you get multiple opportunities, you get years. When you're a free agent, you really only get one shot. That was my chance, and I knew that at the time. So when I went in that game, I wasn't going to be timid.
Romo has completed his last 6 in a row. 12 in a row for Tony Romo.
I'm throwing like 18-yard, back shoulder on the sideline right before I'm getting hit, and we're moving the chains. I'm like, I haven't thrown that in my entire career, but this ball's coming out, and it's coming out fast.
Here's Romo, goes deep in the end zone. It's caught, touchdown Dallas.
What a heck of a throw by Tony Romo.
Offensively, there's only one thing you're going to watch, and that was Tony Romo. And I think he certainly passed the test.
He did a real good job, and that's when I knew he's going to get a chance to play in the league.
The preseason performance began a buzz for the backup in Dallas. Romo showed similar poise when discussing his next contract 3 weeks later.
In the 4th preseason game, before the game, you go out and you warm up for an hour, and I come in, and all of a sudden, one of the coaches says, hey, Coach Parcells wants to see you in the coach's office. And so I'm like, okay, that's different.
Bill and I got him in a little old room, like a closet almost.
And Jerry's like, Tony, come on, sit down right here. And Bill's sitting there with a little bit of a scowl on his face. Put this chair in. Right when I'm about to sit down, they kind of pull the chair in. So now it's like all 3 of our knees are touching right next to each other.
And I had both my feet kind of on his toes, and Bill was sitting there almost a half an inch from his ear.
It's about the most intimidated I've ever been in any sort of a setting in your life.
So we were squeezing him a little bit to sign the deal.
Bill says, I can't play today. I can't play today. I mean, we're not gonna showcase you for the rest of the league. You out there, you play well, and you're a free agent this year, and you're gonna go play somewhere else. I'm not gonna let you play today unless you're gonna sign this contract that we offered you.
He was so composed. He was so good. And he looked me in the eye and he said, I'm going to get to play when you've got an investment in me. The one you've proposed doesn't really make the kind of investment in me that I think will get on the field. I need to get on the field.
And so Jerry looks over at Bill and they look at each other and they're like, okay, I think we're going to do the contract that you want. And I was like, okay.
I shook his hand and said, that's done. He walked out of that door. And Bill jumps up and grabs me and said, "We've got us a quarterback." Said, "Man, did you see that composure under this kind of pressure?"
Romo earned the contract he wanted, but entering the 2006 season, he was still Drew Bledsoe's backup. His only full-time job was holding on place kicks. Midway through the year, on Monday Night Football, his long-awaited chance arrived.
Drew Bledsoe, that last interception is one that just can't happen. And I think Tony Romo is about to replace Drew Bledsoe at quarterback.
I remember like it was yesterday, we're kind of making halftime adjustments, and Bill just walks in, and he tells the quarterback coach, "Hey, why don't you go tell him Bledsoe's down, Romo's in." And I think all of us were surprised. Certainly Tony and Drew were.
I don't know that I've ever been more nervous. Your brain at the moment is just, this is happening. This is like what your whole life, every day that you do something for this. The first play I walk in, and we're gonna call a safe bootleg.
Play action, bootleg to the right, throwing on the run, ball tipped into the air.
Ball goes flying in the air, and I'm like, no.
Pass is intercepted. Tony Romo comes in, one pass, one interception.
I went out there, I was like a chicken with its head cut off. I mean, just boom, throw, hit, boom, throw, aggressive, everything.
Throwing, intercepted at the 3.
Romo's first meaningful NFL game was a disaster. He finished with 3 interceptions and 3 touchdowns, but one was to the Giants.
It's an interception return, 97 yards. Welcome to the NFL, Tony Romo. Terrible showing tonight, terrible.
After 3.5 years on the bench, Tony Romo earned the starting job in Week 8 of 2006. He led Dallas to wins in 5 of his first 6 starts. On Thanksgiving, he tied the Cowboys' record for touchdown passes in a game, as fans playfully enshrined him.
5 touchdown passes for Hall of Famer Tony Romo.
What's going on? Just got it yesterday.
Did you see your name in the Ring of Honor that someone has put that?
You know, that's something you aspire to one day, definitely. And, you know, if I could play another 15 years maybe.
5 touchdown passes over.
Well, I know, but you know, a couple of them were, I could have thrown those 2. We've got a ways to go here, so put the anointing oil away, okay?
Bill Parcells tried squashing Romo mania, but it couldn't be stopped.
Within an instant, your life changed.
It was almost like a Disney sports-themed movie. The guy comes out of nowhere and just takes the whole city and then the country by storm. And it's Romo mania, and there's signs in the stadium. It just was something that I don't know that we've ever seen happen here in Dallas.
I was driving home from work one night, and there was one of those billboards, those digital billboards, and there was my brother on this billboard, and I was like, oh my gosh.
That was probably the time where you really stopped being the Wisconsin kid, and now you were the Dallas Cowboy. I know I got better looking in the eyes of the opposite sex, so that part of it helped.
I mean, my favorite sign I've seen today so far is Tony's better looking than Eli. I'm just glad a girl's holding it up. No.
After leading his team to first place, the former no-name free agent third stringer suddenly became the world's most eligible bachelor.
Carrie Underwood performed here at halftime Thanksgiving Day, met Tony Romo. They've been talking by phone. The thing about Romo, as much fun as it's been for the fans, it's been like twice as much fun for him. Watch out, little playboy. Don't hurt yourself.
But here's Jessica wearing a Dallas Cowboys jersey with a pink number 9 on.
During that time, you just feel like, wow, girls like me. It's a positive, I guess. And then you eventually just grow out of that.
In just 10 starts, Romo was named to the Pro Bowl as he led Dallas to a playoff berth.
We're the Dallas Cowboys! Let's act like the Dallas Cowboys today!
In his first ever playoff start, the Cowboys trailed by 1 late in the game. Then, Romo started driving.
Romo's going to throw to the end zone. Witten caught it near the 1-yard line.
Remember on that drive, it's like, you know, you grow up in wanting to be the guy who takes your team down and scores. I mean, it's a playoff drive. I mean, one of the best drives of my career.
The only task left for Romo was to hold the ball for a short go-ahead field goal.
So it's 19 yards for the lead. The ball will be spotted by Romo at the 9.
Ball was slippery, blah, blah, blah. They used a new ball, you know. Still got to put it down. And the crazy thing is, I thought I almost made it to the end zone. I feel the guy coming in front of me, and I'm trying to get the angle to get across and really just get the first down. But I didn't know the guy was behind me. I take responsibility for messing up at the end there, and that's my fault. And, you know, I cost the Dallas Cowboys a playoff win, and I don't know that I've ever felt this low, you know, at any point. So, I don't know. It's
The fans took that tough, but I think they believed that the future was going to be Tony Romo. He wasn't there to hold on snaps, and he never held on snaps again. He was there to throw the football and win games. And I think they felt that with Tony Romo as a quarterback, this team is going to win a Super Bowl.
Well, we got high hopes.
Entering 2007 with sky-high expectations, Romo delivered. He led Dallas to 13 wins and was named to a second straight Pro Bowl. Romo set new team records for passing yards and touchdowns in a season.
Romo made that play on his own.
His gunslinging and daring escapes fueled one of the most exciting regular seasons in Cowboys history.
High snap over his head. Romo runs it down at the 25 and kicks it. Picks it up and runs left. At the 20, Romo will try and make something happen. Gets away from one man. Left to the 40.
Tony Romo doing his thing. First down, Dallas, unbelievable.
Dallas looked destined for the Super Bowl, earning the top seed for the postseason. Romo decided to take Jessica Simpson and a couple teammates on vacation during their off weekend before the game.
Tony came to me early in the week in the bye. Hey, let's get some friends of ours. Let's get away, low key. I mean, we weren't on booze cruises going across Cabo.
But it took on a life of its own when people found out, obviously.
For a second straight season, the Cowboys' Super Bowl hopes were dashed without a playoff win.
An interception with 9 seconds left is going to end the Dallas Cowboys season.
That's a tough loss to take just because I feel like that was our best team.
This is a disappointment of absolutely colossal proportions, and the playoff drought will continue.
So we're the first team under that current playoff format as a #1 seed to lose their first game. Most of the blame fell on the quarterback, especially because of Cabo.
The worst thing he ever did was not bobbling the snap against Seattle. The worst thing he ever did, seriously, was taking that trip to Cabo.
Look, if you win that game, Cabo was the best thing that ever happened. It was an honest mistake by us. We certainly shouldn't have done it.
Yeah, I don't think it had any bearing on the game. You know what I mean? It's just the optics of it, you know, was wrong. And I think it's silly when you look back, you're like, why would you do that? But, you know, at the time, you just don't know any better. Just live and you learn.
What Tony does such a good job with the boys is he's a really good teacher.
Wait, Eddie, what's that?
He comes up with really creative ways to teach the kids.
Oh! Drop back, drop back. You throw it beneath me, drop back. Tap, 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 tap. Yeah, good throw.
He taught Hawk, our 6-year-old, how to play chess.
What should I do then?
Well, when you get pinned, what do you do?
Put pressure, but I think this is a better pressure, right?
It's the only pressure you got. Good job, buddy.
Teaching is the culmination of decades of joyful obsession. But competitiveness is what drives Tony Romo. Like using an obscure chess maneuver to best his 6-year-old son.
You know what I'm gonna do, though? A thing called en passant, remember? When you move up 2? Did you move past my pawn?
Yeah.
It's called en passant. Only when you're in that position. It's a rare one. Believe me, I'm not going to hold you accountable. You're 6.
Nowhere was Tony Romo more competitive than on the field.
Everybody!
He hated to give up on a play.
Throws it in the end zone. Touchdown. He looks, he dances, he stands, he moves. He bumps into a blocker. Now he runs right. Throws it in the end zone. Touchdown. Go. Rushed by Watt. He escapes Watt. He heaves it down to the post to Williams. And he caught it.
He fought hardest when the game was on the line. The undrafted long shot has the most fourth-quarter comebacks in Cowboys history.
For all intents and purposes this season. 4 to snap. In the gun, 4th and 10. Romo back, looking to his right, looking. Steps up, pumps, throws on the run to the goal line. Touchdown! With 1:08 to go. Shotgun again, snap to Romo. Play fake, throws it in the end zone. Jason Witten caught it for a touchdown with 18 seconds left.
But Romo was 0 for 2 in the postseason. In the 2009 wildcard round versus the Eagles, he answered his biggest criticism.
Caught by John Phillips for the first touchdown of the game.
They blitzed Romo, he's handled it. They sent 3, he's handled it. Tony Romo, he's been pretty darn good today.
Winning that playoff game was great because it changed everyone's minds at that time.
The playoff drought is over. The Cowboys win 34-14.
But then it just goes right back the next year.
54!
Unfortunately, the next season took a vastly different turn.
Blitz is on. Leaves one left, and the pass is caught by Austin in front of Thomas.
Tony Romo's flat on his back, and he was blasted.
And he's down and hurt right now.
Did we catch the pass? Yes.
The first down.
Yes. I saw the left one? Yeah. Did it come out? I don't know. What yard line are we on?
29.
Look out.
Tony Romo was asking his way back in. Hang on, wait a minute, we're going to get you checked out here.
A broken clavicle ended Romo's 2010 season. The following year, he showed just how much pain he could endure against the 49ers.
I go in at halftime and they take a X-ray, and I got broken ribs, you know. They don't know anything about a punctured lung and that, but they think there might be a possibility based on whatever. And they're like, yeah, we can't let you go back. All of a sudden we get behind. Now we're behind by like 10.
John Kitna has taken over at quarterback.
All right, Doc, I'm out. And he's like, huh? And I just grab my pads and take off, running right out the tunnel. The doctor's still 200 yards behind me. I threw a 4th down pass to Witten. Justin Smith comes off the edge, and it just is like a piercing kind of feeling.
Watching the backside up here. Boom, he gets a late hit. Boy, those ribs have got to hurt.
The end of that game, I remember we're in overtime, and Coach calls the comebacks, and I said, no. I tell Jesse, I'm like, hey, we're going to run poker here. And in my brain, I'm thinking, I know it's going to work because the coverage and what I get. And I'm thinking, if we can end this game in one more play, I want this game to be over.
Ogletree and Holly are the wide receivers. Romo's going to play fake and stand back. He's got Holly all alone at the 50. Holly to the 40. Holly to the 20. Right to the 15. 10. Dragged down at the 2.
To me, that was the game that, as much as any other, personified what he was all about, because it was that competitive spirit, that mental and physical toughness, and then the ability to make the critical plays at the critical moments.
Snap, good. Kick, up, good. Cowboys win.
It's one of the prouder moments because I remember after the game, everyone's like, yeah, you know, I'm like, don't even come close to me. Don't hug me, don't touch me.
Let's be the team we're supposed to be right here. Let's go win the game in this drive. You're all good enough to do it. Now it's time to go do it. It's our time, boys, right now. You ready? Let's do it.
In 2014, Tony Romo led the second most prolific offense in Cowboys history. He became the franchise all-time leading passer as Dallas went 12-4 to win the division.
Romo dropped it in like rain right
felt like I had figured out how to play the position at what I felt like was my best.
The Cowboys looked equipped for a Super Bowl run. First, they'd have to win at home in the wild card round.
That was the most pressure I ever felt going into a game.
Just like in the 2006 and 7 playoffs, their Super Bowl hopes hinged on a final drive. Down 3, they faced a 4th and 6.
Oh, they can't go for it. They can't.
It felt like a narrative of your career is what it felt like. It's like 07, I get a second chance. And I was a little different player in 14 than I was in 07.
4th and 6. Romo cocks and throws it over the middle. Whitten. What a brilliant call. It is 3rd and goal at the 8. 4-man rush, they pick it up. Romo looking around, nowhere to go.
I remember being like, ooh, they were ready for this play. They'd seen it on tape. So at that point, there's a calmness that you have to go through. And I just turn and fire that ball about as hard as I could at that moment.
Romo throws it in the end zone. Touchdown to the post. The Cowboys have their first lead of the game.
When he caught that pass, it was pure joy. Felt like the culmination of a lot of years right there. Just you go down and you win a playoff game on your last drive, and it felt good. It felt really good.
How about that? The Cowboys are going to go to Green Bay.
It was like he was going home to win in front of his family and his loved ones that sometimes can't always travel to Dallas. So it held such special meaning. For us, it felt like the stars were aligning.
Once again, the Cowboys faced a 4th down on the final drive, needing a touchdown to take a late lead.
26-21 at the Green Bay 32 with under 5 minutes in the game. Blitz is coming. He throws a deep ball to the left side. Bryant caught the ball. Oh, my goodness.
We'd worked long and hard on that pass. Put it there, he went up and made one of the great catches that you'll ever see in a playoff game.
A sensational catch, my goodness, by Des Bryant over Sam Shields. Unbelievable.
I mean, we all just lost it.
Yeah, we thought we'd won the game, really, because you're down to the 1-yard line with our offensive line. We're going to score a touchdown.
They have thrown the challenge flag. What are they challenging?
I think they're challenging the catch.
Should be touchdown. That's a catch. I think they're going to call it the one.
After review, it has been determined that the receiver did not maintain possession of the football.
I took 3 steps.
You know, nowadays it's a catch, but at that time, they ruled it wasn't. That would have been the best throw of my career, the biggest play of my career.
It was just devastating because you feel that, like, this is it. You feel for your husband. You're just so sad for them because you know how hard it is to get there, first of all. And then you know how devastated they're gonna feel.
It's like a piece of you just gets ripped apart that day. And that's what professional sports does, and that's what makes it difficult, but also amazing at the same time.
You don't just get over something like that. You feel like the clock is ticking and there's another year without a Super Bowl, and every year that passes where there's no ring and there's no Super Bowl, you feel it. He feels it in his heart.
Did you ever change up your grip before? I did about 5 years ago. It helped. To what? I was more this way. Now, which I'm still not even. The exact same way. You are?
It's all a puzzle. It's just figuring out the techniques or the things that matter to be more successful than not. Because people just get into a routine and they do the same things over and over. It's like there's always a way to keep improving.
Hey, and the kick, too. The kick.
Gives you that extra half second.
Yeah. And he don't overstride. It came out harder.
You worked your whole career to figure this out, because it made football so much easier. And I found it in like 2013, about midway through the year. I remember the Bronco game. I'd figured out how to actually throw off different platforms to different angles and still hit the same spot, as if my footwork was exactly the same.
Romo's 25 of 35 for 506, the second 5-touchdown game of his career.
Now, granted, I only got to play in like 18 more games or 20 games after that.
Unfortunately for Romo, the spirit was willing, but the flesh was weak. A collarbone injury ended his 2015 season. In 2016, he suffered a back injury in the preseason.
Romo's hurt. Grabbed his back. He got bent in half, and Tony Romo's hurt.
The door was open for fourth-round pick Dak Prescott, and Prescott ran with the opportunity.
Big hole! Walk the dog! Holy cow!
The Cowboys were 8-1 by the time Romo healed, and the franchise's leading passer could see the writing on the wall.
What's up, guys? Really, I just came up here to talk to you guys. I wrote something, I put it together that I really just wanted to read. You see, football is a meritocracy. You aren't handed anything.
Come on, Romo. You should have known pre-snap what to do there.
You earn everything, every single day, over and over again. You have to prove it.
It's a division championship. It's a total domination.
A great example of this is Dak Prescott. He's earned the right to be our quarterback. It's not always easy to watch. I think anybody who's been in this position understands that. What is clear is that I was that kid once. I remember the feeling like it was yesterday.
Romo scrambling, stops, points, cock, throws it in the end zone, touchdown!
It really is an incredible time in your life. And if I remember one thing from back then, it's the people that helped me along when I was young.
I love you, bro. You too. You're the best.
And if I can be that to Dak, I've tried to be, and I will be going forward. That's what you'll remember. Not your stats or your prestige.
You kidding me?
But the relationships and the achievement that you created through a group. Lastly, I just want to leave you with something I've learned in this process as well. I feel like we all have two battles. One with the man across from you. The second is with the man inside of you. I think once you control the one inside of you, the one across from you really doesn't matter. And I think that's what we're all trying to do. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
It was the most perfect speech I've ever heard, and I think that's why it was so hard, because you're kind of saying goodbye, but I've never been more proud to be associated with somebody in my life.
At season's end, the undrafted kid from Burlington retired a Cowboys legend.
We have the Ring of Honor. I don't think of anybody that could be more deserving than someone that's made a huge contribution to this franchise than Tony Romo.
So you're saying Tony Romo's going to be in the ring?
Yes, I am.
Little did Romo know that a chance meeting in 2016 would decide his next career.
The first time I really had a chance to talk with Tony was at the NFL party at the Super Bowl in Phoenix, Arizona. And I just happened to ask him, tell me what you think about the game on Sunday. And he proceeded to break down the defense of the Seattle Seahawks, the offense of the Patriots, how the Seahawks could stop the Patriots. And I walked away from that conversation. I said, that man is going to be a lead analyst for some network one day. I hope it can be on CBS.
Welcome to Jacksonville. What a scene, what a day. It is hot. I mean, it is scorching hot here in Jacksonville for the AFC Championship game rematch. Hello, friends. Jim Nantz along with Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson. There's a lot of intensity and excitement in the air as this one's about to get started.
I'm excited. We got the rematch of the AFC title game, and they're both really good again.
Romo attacked broadcasting like any of his endeavors, with joyful obsession.
He has like a sixth sense what's going to happen on a play. It's like a chess table's in front of him. He sees where all the pieces are, and he knows what the next move has to be.
It's a 3rd and 4.
It's up for the fade inside the 16.
Here's the pass to the end zone, and it is 16.
He did a great job, and you can tell right off the bat, too.
He was immersed in it, and he prepared like crazy. He worked on being great, and he was.
That magnetism, that enthusiasm he has, that came naturally.
They got him off sides. Down the field. He's open, wide open. Allison cuts back. They got him another move. He's got Jones in front of him. He gets past him, and he's down to the 6.
Tony Romo, the color analyst, quickly became a sensation.
I couldn't believe the reaction was so positive. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. We're not used to this.
I think the reason we all enjoyed watching him is because he kept us on the edge of our seats.
It's like if you want to tell a story, I want to get you excited about it. I want you to hear the passion in my voice so that you understand how important this is. And this is, you got to hear this part of it. The fact that I could get you interested, it's enjoyable. I don't know, guys. What's harder, raising you guys and making sure you're behaving, or playing football?
Playing football.
Why is that harder?
Behaving.
Behaving. Some people are like, hey, how do you feel you didn't have a Super Bowl, you didn't have this, or you didn't? And I'm like, are you kidding? Like, you think I had it bad or rough? I'm the luckiest guy who's ever walked. That's how I feel. I wake up in the morning just being like, thank you. I have more gratitude toward my career and life probably than people realize. I worked hard, right? But there was so much other stuff that came into play for that all to happen, and to have this beautiful family, these 3 boys and a beautiful wife. I mean, I just can't imagine there being a better word than gratitude toward what the Lord's given me and allowed me to do in this life.
Content with his career and life, there's still the question of what brings joy to the obsessive Tony Romo.
I mean, it's funny because I switch these differing times. It used to be just singularly focused on this one thing, and now it's like, you got family. And then you go over to broadcasting. And Jacksonville plays like a New England, right? And then you go into golf for me now.
Tony Romo is the winner of the 29th American Century Championship.
That's basically my daily mind ritual, I guess you could say. It's just constantly going through these things, which is great.